Right, it is another episode of Viva on the Street. Tonight, it is not with Pudge, it is with Winston. Winston, what do you say? Yeah. It is February 10th, and I am again out on the street unlawfully, but for the dog, because I predicted it a month ago. If the numbers did not go down, I predicted they would extend the curfew because we have to get those numbers down. And if the numbers did go down, they would extend the curfew because the numbers are going down. Lo and behold, the numbers are going down, either related or totally unrelated to the curfew, but they are still extending the curfew throughout the province. Now, outside of certain red zones, I think they're in the orange zones, the curfew has been extended, as in made until 9:30 in the evening. So outside of the red zones, you can leave your house until 9:30, and then after that, you have to go back inside until 5 in the morning. There's another dog down the street here. We're going to see him in a second. In Montreal, in the red zones, you're still not allowed out of the house between 8 in the evening, hello doggy, and 5 in the morning, unless you have a dog. So the curfew has been extended, surprise, surprise. You might be looking at this snazzy haircut. Are you looking at the haircut? You're not looking at the haircut. Do you see the haircut? You see the haircut. You might be looking at this haircut and saying, well, Viva, if the curfew's been extended, how did you get your haircut lawfully? I got my haircut lawfully because they have extended the curfew, but they have graciously reopened non-essential, and I just don't have my fingers, non-essential businesses. So people can get their hair cut, people can hopefully buy socks in pharmacies, people can hopefully buy pantyhose and hair dye. And for those of you who think that when I do these Viva on the Streets, I just walk outside and randomly start rambling, I take notes every now and again, and I've taken notes tonight. On the notes for the evening, border crossings. Okay, so in the last few Viva on the Street updates I've done, I was talking about the international flight restrictions, and I do want to be clear about those. There has been apparently some delay of the rollout of the restrictions, but the restrictions are nonetheless being rolled out, and that is that all international flights coming into Canada can only land in 4 locations: Vancouver, Calgary, Toronto, and Montreal. When you are arriving on an international flight, you will have to show a negative COVID test upon arrival, taken within 72 hours of arrival. You will apparently still have to take a COVID test upon arrival. If your COVID test is negative, you would still have to quarantine for 2 weeks in a proper quarantine place, home or wherever. By the way, and pending the results of the test, you would have to stay in a government-approved hotel at a cost of up to $2,000 pending the results. If your results are negative, you can go home and quarantine at home for the next 2 weeks. If your results are positive, you would then have to go to a government-designated quarantine facility for an undisclosed time at an undisclosed location. And if anybody thinks I'm exaggerating about the undisclosed location, we have now had 2 documented, confirmed situations in which 2 people were hauled off upon arrival and having tested positive on the spot to undisclosed locations of designated quarantine facilities. One was Nikki Mathis, and the other was a son of someone named Rebecca McDonald. Now, when I first mentioned this in a tweet a few days ago, I said that her son was 9 years old, and her son was not 9 years old. Her son was 20 years old. Nonetheless, upon arrival from Arizona, hauled off to a government-designated quarantine facility without being told where he was going. His mother was not being told where he was going. And these are 2 documented cases, and there are more, from what I understand. So when anyone says this is all hypothetical and this is all fear-mongering conspiracy theory reported only on Rebel News, it might only be reported on Rebel News. It doesn't mean it's fear-mongering conspiracy theory. It might actually be true, but no one else is reporting on it. So that's the international flight restrictions. The news? Apparently, these rules are going to be imposed at the road border crossings. Now, that might be a step up because the border crossings have been closed to non-essential travel for the last year. Just so everybody appreciates, I have family in the United States. I have a sister and a brother and a sister-in-law and a brother-in-law, nieces and nephews, an aunt and an uncle. I have cousins in the United States. I haven't seen them in a year. Nor do I plan on seeing them anytime soon because I know what is going to be awaiting me when I come back, if I go, which I'm not going, so I'm not coming back. Bottom line, I'm not taking a chance at being hauled off to an undisclosed location of a government quarantine facility because I might get accurately or inaccurately tested positive for COVID upon my return. So all that to say is I have family members in the United States whom I have not seen in a year as a result of all of this. My siblings have not seen my parents in a year, but that's a separate issue. So these testing measures are now going to be imposed at the road borders, where you're going to have to show a negative test within 72 hours of having crossed the border. That's the border issues. What's going on in the courts? Because everyone wants to know where the courts are. The courts are the last refuge of justice, n'est-ce pas? We knew that there was a court case out of Gatineau, the lawyer who was contesting the curfew measures being imposed by the government. His name doesn't matter, you can Google it, it really doesn't matter, but he filed, it was called a motion for judicial review. And
I'm going to stop this here. It's February 14, and this is Viva Fry. Oh, it's 3 days ago, so I just had missed it previously. But thanks for watching it here. He's a good guy, Viva Fry. Subscribe.